Okay, so welcome back to the channel again. Today, just down there, I have a sneakers app dub, which is actually, given the silhouette that it is actually not as surprising because I seem to keep hitting on them. But for my overall record, like most of you, it's one that kind of feels like a 1 in a million. Daily fit pick up here. Wore a couple of splashes of red for Valentine's Day. But yeah, enough lollygagging. Let's get into it. So, this just turned up, and the FedEx man just dropped this off. Huge box. I'm not really sure why, and it also looks like it's almost been ripped open already. It does say Nike on the box, so maybe there was a moment of like, should I just take this? Luckily, touch wood, I've only ever had one thing stolen in the post, and that was like a really small company that Nike started using, and so many people complained because they just steal everything that they don't use them anymore. So these dropped weekend just gone. It's what now, Tuesday today? Yeah, Tuesday today. This is, as you can see, the new Jordan 4 box. You know me, I'm a sucker for these new boxes. I just love having some variation up in those stacks behind me. So yeah, read through. So this is the Air Jordan 4 Retro SE Proton Dust Pale Vanilla. And I went with a 12.5 as opposed to my typical 12. He got kicks. I'll put a Instagram and YouTube, maybe Instagram and YouTube images. I watch quite a lot of his videos. He tends to get early pairs all the time. Super cool dude. And when he can, he tries them on beforehand and gives some like sizing. I think it's a very like Nike, Jordan brand kind of heavy channel, but whenever it comes to my J's, if he's going to do a video, I'll listen to. He said that they are, that they size up quite small. First things first, the box feels really thick. So you've got, let me just go through first before I start opening it. So you've got this like Proton Dust and Pale Vanilla. I guess Proton Dust is this color, this is Pale Vanilla. The Jumpman here, Proton Dust with the speckled box, the rest of it, and then White Flight. And then you have Pale Vanilla all on the insides of the box. The typical speckled paper that they're doing now. And then the kicks. Okay. Wow. Okay. So, yeah, nothing else in there. Here they are. On first inspection, I'm not seeing anything funky with the pair. They look to be pretty good. I'll kind of double check some of the QC. Typical with anything Nike, they kind of laced up so tightly that, like I mentioned with the Air Max 1 video, it's actually quite difficult to really kind of tell how good you think something looks when it's like laced up like that. Not like, it's just not a great look. But I think the out of box shape on this one is much better. This one's a little bit jacked up and it's like super tightly laced. So I'm gonna double check, 12.5, yep, so fairly decent, on first inspection. So I'm just gonna go through this side, which is the left shoe. So this is the Jordan 4 Craft, that Proton Dust Pale Vanilla. And what you have is like just a really funky mixture of materials. So you have essentially like a crackled leather up here, which kind of just really is this area here, and then you have like a much flatter leather at the bottom, which stretches all the way around through onto the other side. So yeah, if you pull down the back tab, you can see where those two different leathers kind of meet back there. The wings are cracked on this side. Oh no, they're not, they're just a bit tumbled. And then you have this really nice, like fairly, like it's not quite Purple Canyon fuzz on here, but you do have a longer haired suede there. Then on the outsole, the Proton Dust, I don't know which one of the, I think it's this, the grey, and then the Pale Vanilla. Is there any grey on this? No, it doesn't say grey anywhere on here. But yeah, and then you have the lining. Yeah, I think I can see why you have to size up, because this padding is definitely a bit thicker. And then the longer head suede again on that side, and then this little patch, which is quite funky patch up here. I'm just gonna kind of like look at them side by side. One of the usual things I kind of feel for fours, which is a good test of the shape, is how well the edge of this waffle runs against the netting. And you can see here it's perfect. They should run at the same angle. And in the past, when Jordan's got really bad with their fours, it's stopped doing that. So that looks good. One thing I did want to do with this pair is to compare to another recent pair. I think like a few different, what I think are quite interesting factors here. So this is from last year. I want to say it was from September, October, definitely later on in the year, which is the winterized or Archeo Brown. So it just goes to show that the kind of, I guess, the sign of the times, in that these sat monstrously badly everywhere. So like from a performance perspective, probably didn't do great. And these, I want to say the resale value is around $300. Both very like funky colorways, both very typically non-Jordan brandish colorways. Both have a mixture of really funky colors and different materials. And also both do away with one of the main things that makes the silhouette. So no elephant print here, just the simple stitching. No mesh here, like a debossed suede here. But for some reason these have performed really well and these perform like shit. And I think like a big part of it is just simply that fours are cool and threes are not cool still. So yeah, that's like one of my thoughts on it. I mean, you tell me which one you think, if there's like a massive difference in the like coolness of these two shoes. I mean, they both look very different compared to each other, but like, really? I don't know, I don't get it, but yeah.
A few moments later.
Okay, so just had to cut away to go and get the other pair that I wanted to compare to them, and totally forgot to put down by the side of me before starting the video. So I've just gone and done that. You might see a difference in the stacks behind me. So yeah, I saw when images first arose, a few people say, why would you need these? They basically just look like the cool greys. So I kind of wanted to show them side by side with the cool greys, because I mean, I didn't think they looked like the cool greys at all. So I mean, there we go. Hopefully you guys can see that difference in the shade. Is it just me, or do they look nothing like each other? Like in terms of the colours. I mean, the block is very similar. Like I think the block is actually the same. Yeah, the block is very similar, but the build, this is clearly the new rolled back tongue, the sleeker. This is the slightly more puffy one with the visible padding from the front. But I mean, this is very dark grey, and this is almost not grey. It's almost so light it's not grey. Yeah, interestingly, these are an 11.5 and these are 12.5, and if I'm led to believe they'll both fit me perfectly. But yeah, that's like the comparison I really wanted to make with the cool greys. They barely look anything like the cool greys. One thing I did want to start doing with new pickups was like an out of 10 rating for them, much like you see Foamer and Buckets doing. Obviously they're a much bigger channel than myself, but I just really like when they do that. What I would say with these off the bat, I think these will be much better in my eyes once I've like gone through my pants and stuff like that and seen like kind of what colors go really well with them. My initial off the bat is a good 8 out of 10. I generally For me, if it's under a 7.5 out of 10, there's no chance. A 7.5, I'm sometimes borderline, maybe if I can get it on sale or something like that. Or if there's like a specific one-off fit that I think would look really good. And then 8 and above I like to think my entire collection is an 8 and above. So yeah, I would say this would rank maybe in the bottom 25% of my 4s. But having said that, I mean, I obviously love every 4 that I have. That's a good reason I buy them, because I really like them. So, so yeah. The only other thing, just before I close off the video, we still have this. The non-card, they're never going to go back. And then inside is the darker grey and the pale vanilla. Yeah, that's it for the review. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I would say the materials on here are super dope. If I can find an image of the olive craft that they're talking about doing later in the year, I think in fall, I'll shoot an image up here. If not, I won't. Oh, wings test. Let's see if the wings line up to the holes. That does. I think this side looks really good. This side is my slight worry, the right shoe. Yeah, you can see here. Look, if I flatten that off, the holes in the waffle don't really align to the holes in the wing. So the holes on this piece of leather. It does on here. It just doesn't on the inside of the right shoe is a little bit wonky. So I'll need to see what that kind of comes out. Sometimes you put the shoe on and suddenly kind of everything aligns, but we'll see. So yeah, that's it for me. This is the Jordan 4 Craft, again with the colorway Photon Dust Pale Vanilla. Yeah, that's it from me. Over and out.